Hey, how's it going everybody? Back here today with another video. I'm actually doing a response video. This is a thread created by Scott over at the Rock Scout, and I've seen a few other people respond to it. It's actually a really good idea, sort of a sequel to 10 Terrible Albums in your collection. This one is called 10 Terrible Songs from Killer Albums. So in other words, an album which you really like, or you think may be almost perfect, but there's one song that you dislike or can't stand. So I thought, that's a really good idea, like a nice spin-off on the original version. And when I did the last video, 10 Terrible Albums, I got a really surprising number of views, and I thought, that tells me, as Matt from the Dark Part said, I watched his video as well, very entertaining. He said, people seem to like negativity, and I think that's true, actually. Like, if you're always talking positively about albums, that's great, of course, but it's nice to change it up sometimes. So, and it's also a bit fun to do because it's something different. So I've decided to jump on board with this. Like I said in the last video with 10 Terrible Albums, remember this is just my opinion, so I'm not saying my opinion is the law, and you don't have to take it personally. So these are songs that I just dislike. If you happen to like them, that's fine, you know, but you know, there's no need for any hatred, I don't think. So yeah, it's amazing how people can get so upset sometimes, but yeah, I'm just saying don't take it too seriously. This is just my opinion. I think I've watched just about every video that's out as far as I know on this, and I found them all really entertaining. A lot of different choices from people. Some, yeah, there's some very common ground with some of them in terms of songs, and you'll see that I agree with some of those. So let's get straight into it. So 10 terrible songs from killer albums. So here we go, starting with the CDs. Okay, first choice. So the album Black Flag, Slip It In. Great punk album, fronted by Henry Rollins, of course, and Greg Ginn on guitar. I've spoken about this before on my channel. Really fantastic album. Every song is great except for one. You're probably thinking, which one? Actually, not Rat's Eyes. I think that would be a popular choice because people think the chorus is very repetitive. You know, it's like, rat's eyes, rat's eyes, rat's eyes. You know, but he says it in that sort of snarly voice. That is, I actually quite like that song because it's got a dark atmosphere, and the fact his voice, he's speaking from the perspective of a rat. That song's fine. The song which I really can't stand on this album is track 7, My Ghetto, which is just an incredibly annoying mess. Like, it starts with 30 seconds to 1 minute of guitar feedback, just, and then it's like, my ghetto, my ghetto, my ghetto, ah! And this cacophony of noise, and then the music is incredibly messy. It's just irritating, and whenever I'm in the vicinity of the CD player, I'll hit skip. If I'm too far away, I know that it's going to be over in a couple of minutes anyway, but really I'm just waiting for that song to end. So I can't stand it, but it's amazing because like either side of that song, you've got The Bars, which is a great song, You're Not Evil, which is the last track. Excellent album, just that one song, My Ghetto, I think it was just unnecessary, and it ruins what could have been a perfect album. So yeah, that's My Ghetto from Black Flag, Slip It In. All right. Okay, coming up next. This one may surprise people. Cannibal Corpse with Gallery of Suicide. I really do like this album a lot. I've spoken about this one before as well. It's one of my most played Cannibal Corpse albums actually, you know, over my time. But yeah, 14 tracks on this, so there is a lot of music anyway, which means it's easy to perhaps have something which you don't like. There are a couple of songs which don't grab me too much. I find a little bit boring, which are I Will Kill You and Sentenced to Burn. However, they're still decent, they're okay songs. But the one song on this that I've never liked is track 13, Centuries of Torment. Yeah, I don't know why, it just never clicked with me, that song. Like, I think I've heard it less than 10 times in my life. This morning I listened to it again to check and I was like, nope, yep, still don't like it. It's very choppy sounding and chaotic. Like, there's no hooks, there's no catchiness to that song. Like, it's not terrible, like it's still Cannibal Corpse, but it's just, there's nothing appealing about it, nothing reeling me in. And then especially at the end where he says, they will not be saved, they will die. It's like, okay, I've had enough of this song, so let's just finish it. Like, no offense. But then they make up for that because the last track is Crushing the Despised, which is a really fast, brutal track. So like, yeah, this album is really good. It just gets better as it goes along. Like some of my favorite tracks I've mentioned before, Unite the Dead, Stabbed in the Throat, Chambers of Blood, Every Bone Broken, Crushing the Despised. But yeah, Centuries of Torment, just don't like it. But then again, 1 out of 14 ain't bad in terms of bad songs, you know? So yeah, Cannibal Corpse, Centuries of Torment. All right. Okay, up next. Oh, by the way, I was going to say this morning I had my list organized and then I let a couple of albums off the hook because I thought, actually, with some albums, there's songs that I just don't like very much or find a little bit boring, but they're not exactly terrible. So a couple were let off the hook. Of course, there are albums where there's more than one bad track, so they can't be included, but this one just made the list this morning. So the album, Emperor 9 Equilibrium. Of course, I love Emperor, brilliant band. This is a killer album, generally speaking. Maybe it's a fast stretch to say this one's a killer album. There's a couple of songs which are, you know, I wouldn't say brilliant, but it's still a very good album. But there's one song on this I just can't stand, and can you guess it? It's track 3, An Elegy of Icarus. First of all, what pisses me off about that is, why are they saying Icarus? Isn't it Icarus? If we're talking about the ancient Greek myth about the guy who flew too close to the sun and then his wings melted, it's Icarus, but that's a small gripe, like no big deal, Icarus. Ultimately it's about the music, but the music on that song, I just can't stand it. Like Ishan's clean vocals, I normally really like, you know, on songs like With Strength I Burn, brilliant, you know, but on this song, they just sound really woozy and wonky, like it's like something out of key there. It doesn't grab me at all. And then you know, it plods along, and then in the middle of the song it just meanders, like the song's off in La La Land, and it always descends into ambience for me, and then it comes back to the clean vocals, and it's like, no, it just sounds like a terrible haphazard mess, that whole song, and I really can't stand it. I usually hit the skip button for this song. Like, I forced myself to listen to it this morning. There's a couple of moments on it, like with the keyboards in the middle where it's okay, but like generally I can't stand it, especially because of the clean vocals. But as I said, the song just wanders and it lets down the album. So yeah, again, Emperor's one of my favorite black metal bands. This was the first album I didn't completely like because of that song. Like the other 2 or 3, you know, perfect, brilliant, but yeah, this one I just can't stand that song, An Elegy of Icarus. Okay, all right, going to some punk now. The Exploited, Punk's Not Dead. Great album. I love this album. This is a very nostalgic album for me. When I was in high school, I had a friend who taped it for me. I listened to it to death. Just classic UK punk. These guys are from Scotland, I think Edinburgh. And yeah, just so many good songs on this album, like 15 tracks. And there's just one which lets me down. So some people are thinking, maybe it's Exploited Barmy Army. No, I actually like that song. Even though it's a bit repetitive, like X. Like, I like how you hear his Scottish accent, Watty's Scottish accent, especially when he says O and I. I don't mind that song. The one song I just really cannot stand, I've never liked, is track 7, Sex and Violence. Just a boring waste of time. Like, you look at all the other brilliant songs on this album, like Mucky Pup, Cop Cars, Blown to Bits, SPG, Ripper. Yeah, there's so many classic songs, but this one song, Sex and Violence, I think it's like a joke song or something, but so incredibly boring and pointless. Like, it starts with just this plodding drum beat, and then it starts with sex and violence, sex and violence. So they do that for 2 minutes, and then it changes to sex and violence for 2 more minutes, and then the last 2 minutes it's sex and violence, and then the very end it's like, thanks, no thanks. Absolutely boring song. No offense, I love this band, they're great, but I don't know what they were thinking with that song. And it's quite funny, I know a few bands like Total Chaos have covered that song. It's like, why on earth would you cover that song when there's so many better ones by The Exploited? But yeah, 15 tracks on this album, all brilliant with the exception of that one song, Sex and Violence. Okay, how am I going for time today? Alright, next one. Now, it pains me to choose an album by this band because they're my favorite black metal band, but there's one song on this I can't stand. Marduk with World Funeral. Brilliant, killer album. As I said, they're my favorite black metal album. They're my favorite black metal band, but the one song which I really can't stand is track 6, Castrum Dolores. It's not Marduk, it seems out of character, and there's nothing wrong with the band trying new ideas, but that song is quite simply, to me, just boring and a bit depressing. Like, no, not because it's slow. Like on Le Grand Dance Macabre, like some of my favorite songs were the slower ones, like the title track, for example, like brilliant song, and also like Dreams of Blood and Iron from Nightwing, another slow song, brilliant. But yeah, this song, Castrum Dolores, it's just like, it's the guitar melody, it's annoying. It's like, and it's like, it's depressing, and like the way Legion sings along with it, it's like, but like his raspy voice is sort of imitating the melody, and I just find it incredibly boring and depressing. And then the bridge, like it's just this simplistic, boring melody, and it just seems out of character when every other song on this album is just like a blast fest or incredibly heavy and sinister sounding. Just that one song is the only one I dislike. So brilliant band and album, but I have never liked that song Castrum Dolores from World Funeral. Okay, up next, this one made the list just this morning, and now I know a couple of other people whose videos I've watched have included this one. So Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz. Sorry to say, yeah, the song Goodbye to Romance. I used to think I liked it, and then I thought about it properly, like listening to it. It's a very sort of soppy, sappy song, and it's a little bit depressing actually, especially the verse melody, but also the chorus. It's just like deeply depressing and not in a good way. So it's a bit of a far stretch, to be honest, for me to call this a killer album. Like, I think D is kind of like a pointless song, and then the last two tracks, yeah, they're pretty good, but I wouldn't say they're like outstanding, amazing. But like, obviously, like when this album's on fire, it's great tracks like I Don't Know, Crazy Train, Suicide Solution. Yeah, brilliant. But yeah, just that one song, Goodbye to Romance, it gets me down, it makes me feel depressed. So I would say, in general, I hit the skip button for that song. So yeah, I know some people really like it, so again, it's just my opinion, don't get upset, but I just don't like that song, Goodbye to Romance. Okay. All right. Now, this list is actually pretty eclectic. Up next, I have something completely different, which I don't normally listen to this kind of stuff, but it's still a great album. So, Stuck Mojo with Rising. So if you're not familiar with Stuck Mojo, they're sort of, how would you describe it? Rap metal crossover? Sort of, the way I've described it to people, it's like a cross between Rage Against the Machine and Machine Head. So Machine Head with those albums, like the good ones, like Burn My Eyes and The More Things Change, like very heavy, but then it's got the rapping vocals. But like at the same time, so the lead singer, Bonds, he's the rapper, but then the two other guys, Rich Ward and Corey Lowry, they sing clean vocals as well, which is again a bit similar to Machine Head. So brilliant album, so heavy. I wouldn't say in general, I don't like hip-hop very much or rap, but when it's crossed over with metal music, I really can enjoy it sometimes if it's done well. So I think if you like bands like Rage Against the Machine, Machine Head, and Biohazard, you would really like this. This is a fantastic album, like 13 tracks, all great. The way I got into this band was when I heard the song Rising. I saw the video clip for that, and I just thought, that is an amazing song. So it encouraged me to buy this in, 98 or something, and I've loved this album all along. It's great, except for track 14, which is Suburban Ranger. The last track on the album, it's a bonus track, and it's Bonds, the rapper singer, and his mates doing a full-blown hip-hop song. So the whole album is rap metal, and then there's just a hip-hop or rap song at the end. And the reason I don't like that song is just like incredibly boring and generic. No offense, like I wouldn't say it's excruciating to listen to, but just generic and boring. And not that I'm an expert on hip hop, but just sometimes I think, like when the lyrics are a bit too simplistic or cheesy, like it doesn't sound good, and that's what I feel. And also the chorus, like Suburban Ranger, danger, danger. Oh, congratulations, it rhymes, But like, no, not good. And they have a sort of joke section in the middle of the song, which is not that funny. And it just doesn't do it for me. So usually, thankfully, it's the last track on the album. Usually I just hit stop when that one comes on. It's funny, at the end of the track, they say, don't get mad unless we're talking about you. I'm not mad, I just don't like the song. All right. So, coming up next to something completely different again. Oh, Jesus Christ. Someone's doing some lawn mowing, I think. Okay, hopefully that doesn't last too long. Anyway, coming up next with some hair metal, glam metal. Warrant with Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinking Rich. I would say this is a killer album. Now, some people might say Warrant are very cheesy. I think they're underrated as a glam metal band. Like, they could play well. I don't think they're as cheesy as, say, Poison. And they had some really rocking tracks. And Janie Lane was a very underrated and talented vocalist. Rest in peace. So this album is just really, really good. Like, I like every song. Like, the famous songs from this album were Down Boys, Big Talk, Yeah, and there's some really underrated ones in my opinion, like 32 Pennies, DRFSR, the title track, In the Sticks, great song, Riding High on Cold Sweat, just rocking. Great, fantastic album. If you think this band, if you have your preconceptions that this is a cheesy album, just go and listen to it. It's actually really good. However, the one song I can't stand on it is track 8, Heaven. Heaven was one of the singles from this album, and it's a ballad. You know, and I'm not against ballads per se when they're done well, but this one is just really soppy and sappy and a little bit depressing, especially the chorus. And like, I know that's a glam metal thing. They always had 1 or 2 ballads on each album to show their sensitive side and to get the chicks and everything like that. But it's like, it was one of their most famous songs, but I just don't like it because it's a soppy song. So, musically talented, I suppose, but yeah, just not for me. Anyway, but don't let that fool you. It is a great album. That's just the one track which doesn't grab me so much. So, Warrant, Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich, and the track Heaven is the one I don't like. All right. Okay, so I've gone through 8 CDs, now going to some records. Okay, first of all, Cream with Disraeli Gears. So if you're not familiar with Cream, doubtful, you know, a psychedelic hard rock band from the 60s featuring, who was it, Jack Bruce, Ginger Baker, and Eric Clapton. So it was kind of like a supergroup, hence the name Cream. I love this album. Like, this was an album my parents introduced me to when I was just a kid, like 7 years old or something. And like, so many brilliant songs on this. Like, the most famous song is obviously Sunshine of Your Love, also Strange Brew, but like, I love those ones like World of Pain, Dance the Night Away. Yeah, and the album just gets better and better. But there is one song on this I just can't stand at all. And no, it's not Blue Condition. Blue Condition is the song sung by Ginger Baker. Obviously, he doesn't have the best voice. It's like, maybe better stick to drumming. But that song has some charm, some appeal. But the one song I can't stand is the last song on the album, Mother's Lament. Now, I think that is a joke song because it's like a little piano ditty or something like that. But, I just can't stand it. That song is fucking annoying from the get-go. Like with a wanna, a toa, a freya, a fora. Oh, shut up! You know, like, so and then, you know, so, our mother was washing. Oh, no, I just can't stand it. And it's actually a depressing song as well because it's about a mother washing her baby in the bathtub, and then he's so skinny he falls down the plug hole. Like, what a depressing song. And then the lyrics are terrible. You know, yeah, I just can't stand it. And especially when they do the vocal harmonies, it's just really annoying. Like, there's nothing funny or charming about that song, so I just don't get it. But thankfully it is the last track, so I usually just stop it before then. But every other track on this is fantastic. Brilliant album, but just Mother's Lament, a joke song. Why would you tack that on at the end? I just don't understand. But anyway, great album otherwise. So Cream with Disraeli Gears. All right. Now the last one, I think this is a popular choice, so it's nothing original for me. Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast. I listened to this album again just this morning. Obviously, it's a brilliant classic album, like one of the band's most famous. And it's damn near flawless. The only exception is, and I know other people have chosen this song too, is the opening track, Invaders. Now, let me just be clear on that. Like, it's not a completely terrible song. I like the intro, like the dun 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 dun, and the verse and the guitar riffs, the drums, everything like that. What I can't stand is just the chorus. Like, the chorus is annoying. Like, the vocals, especially like Invaders and the dun 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 dun. It's like, is this a joke song or something? It's just like, it doesn't even fit with the rest of the song. And yeah, I mean, it's I still listen to it when I put it on because but like, the opening track should be the call to battle for an album. And I suppose it is, like, Invaders lyrically, but I just really don't like the chorus in that song. But like, otherwise, this is a perfect album. So Iron Maiden with Invaders from Number of the Beast. All right, guys, so there's my 10 albums, 10 terrible songs. You can obviously see that I don't see all of them as completely terrible, but there were other albums I was looking at, and these would rank in the top 10, so from my collection. So yeah, that's just by choice. As I said, these are just my opinions, so if you disagree, that's fine. Yeah, don't take it personally. So anyway, I enjoyed doing this video, and looking forward to doing more threads. Thanks a lot, Scott, for coming up with the idea. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, that would be great. And take care, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.